Alrighty guys, good to have you back on another video of NieR Reincarnation, and today the second anniversary is officially live. We have new notices, we have new features, new game modes, new units, and we're talking about almost everything in this video. So first things first, the Japanese second anniversary campaign is live. Let's go over the gifts. First, we got 6,000 gems. That is actually very awesome. I calculated with 3,000, so 6,000 is very much appreciated. We got the new 2B costume. Unfortunately, she's only a 3-star costume with a 60-second 25% attack up buff for the whole party, so not that useful, unfortunately, but at least we got a new costume for A2, and you can change costumes for your 2B battler. I mean, it is understandable that they don't power creep their gacha version with a free one, so it's nice to have a little bit of variety for more costumes of 2B. Then we also got the battle text for her Awakening Stone, so we can get her to Awakening 5, and a sword. Then we got the new Mac port and a 4-star premium summon gacha ticket, and 200 mama points, so that is pretty nice. The Oracle card login bonus will start at the daily reset, and then we have the second anniversary once per day quests, volume 1 and 2, that will start actually one day after the anniversary, so I'm not quite sure why. Maybe they messed up the date here, but we're going to get that a little later. Then we have the Recalling Light Drop Guaranteed campaign going on. We had that a couple of weeks ago, where you get 1 Recalling Light guaranteed from Dark Memory quests, which is really awesome for newer players that are still farming the EX costumes. And on top of that, we also have half stamina cost campaign that will affect guerrilla quests, daily quests, Dark Memory quests, and story quests as well. And those quests, they also get a campaign drop rate up increase, but also dungeon quests for 2.5, the normal drop rate, and Dark Memory quests will have 2 times the normal drop rate. So there is that. And the last thing is that we also have a success for the Memora enhancements is guaranteed. So if you have some free time and farm dungeons next to the new record event of the free prisoner, success is guaranteed. So that saves actually a lot of gold, and I read that for Exalt, the new feature to get the characters above or to level 100 costs gold, refining costs gold probably. I haven't looked into that feature yet, so whenever we can save some gold, especially for newer players, it is very much appreciated. Before we go into the banner, we have a real quick look at the new character from the record event, which is Celebratory Prisoner. And he is a 4-star unit, of course, with all the handout celebratory units, and he has a new skill in the game that is that debuts on this character first, and it is enter a Dauntless state for 15 seconds. So Dauntless is a new mechanic in the game, and we also have a notice for that when we scroll down a little bit further, which states that under Dauntless, even if a character's HP should reach 0 upon receiving damage, 1 HP will remain. So that is basically a zombie effect that we know from the recovery abilities of the 2-hand sword Machine Axe or the Staff of Abstract Rion Stratocratic Providence. It's actually quite nice that we see this now as a character skill ability in the game, so some sort of a buff, if you want to say that. I'm very interested to see what units they will get this new feature as well, because we saw a new ability introduced into the game with the record event that gave us a free Rion, and he was the first unit in the game that had Provoke, and after that a lot of good units got provoked as well, aka 063Y or Bloody Griff. So Dauntless, really interesting here. It also states that it helps with the ability Caged Vigor, so that is true. So maybe we get a bonkers Caged Vigor unit in the future that also has Dauntless and can't die from the enemy's attacks, and then you get the full multiplier of dynamic Caged Vigor weapons, for example. But now let's go into the real part, while you're all here waiting for the Japanese second anniversary banners. So we're discussing the paid one, the free gems multi-step up, and the original one, the 200. I mean, there is nothing to discuss there, but a little bit. So first things first, the paid step up banner. Actually pretty nice bonuses this time, nothing really special on step 1. Just keep in mind that whenever you pull a 4-star with a costume, it is guaranteed to be one of the celeb units. This is quite nice because when we look at the rates, it is distributed across them evenly. So there we can see 0.66%, that adds up to 2% in the end. Quite good actually if you're doing the paid step up here. The second step is summoning for free, as well as the 4th step up. Then the 3rd step up in the middle has a 1.5 times appearance rate to 4-star drops, so that applies to weapons as well as costumes, so the rate for the costumes are even higher here. And you also get a Black Pearl insignia of skill, insignia of quality. That is nice to see. And step 5 has a double 4-star appearance rate up, and the 10th slot is guaranteed to be one of the new celeb units. So you're guaranteed to get at least one of them if you do the full cycle, the full 5 step ups, as well as one Zenith Brilliance. The pity here is 150 shards, and you could exchange for basically every unit in the game, but why would you do that actually? And so that costs you 30,000 paid gems, so close to 300 euros in my currency. Probably dollars is the same. Is it worth it here? I mean, yes, if you're really interested in the characters, I would go for it. Actually, I would go for it. But before we go into the characters, we have a look at the free multi-step up. A lot less bonuses here. So we have a generic 3,000 gems pull on the 1st step. The 2nd step and the 4th step is discounted at 1,500 gems. The 3rd step is your generic 3,000 pull. And the 5th step, you get 5 Black Pearl pieces, 1 insignia of quality, and it also costs 3,000. So overall, this is like a discounted multi-step up banner. If you happen to have 48,000 gems like myself, you're able to get a full pity here. The exchange is at 200. And if you have summoning tickets that you want to use, unfortunately you have to spend them on the ordinary banner, because the multi-step up doesn't allow you to pull with tickets, only free gems. So if you want to spend your tickets, you have to use it on this banner here. So what you can do, because these two, they share the same pity shards, that means you could actually pull for 24,000 gems here, so that is 100 pulls, and then you can finish off the pity with 100 summon tickets, so that is an option. And now we go into the characters, so let's go. We have 3 new units, Yudil, Sarafa and Levania. We start with Yudil. So first things first here, the max stats for all of the characters going forward that are displayed on the banner are shown for level 100. So you can see this here on the bottom right corner. These are the stats for level 100. So that includes Exalt the character to raise the level actually to level 100. So keep that in mind. When we look at the stats for Yudil here, we notice that his HP is stupidly high, over 150k. Are you kidding me? We never saw a unit in the game that has so much HP. The attack and defense is actually not that high, so what does that tell us in conjunction with the character skill icon here? Yes, of course, we have another provoke character in the game with a character skill usable right from the start. And this Yudil decreases all enemies' attacks by 30% for 30 seconds and enters a provoke state for 2 turns, as well as decreasing all enemies' critical hit rate by 50% for 30 seconds when own affinity is dark. So that is quite important. Yudil has to wear a dark affinity main hand weapon, so that is actually pretty interesting, you know. We have NieR 06 Revive with a continuous heal and provoke. We have Bloody Griff with a provoke and a damage mitigation of 90%. And this Yudil, he has the provoke, but he also decreases attack like Celeb Demas, and also decreases the critical hit rate by the enemies. So that is quite interesting. I'm really eager to see how he fits in the current meta for PvP, but I really think that he like revives the full tank builds in Arena, and I'm so afraid to find out that this will be the case. Let's have a look at his abilities, because he's actually quite similar to Bloody Griff. Resilience, all allies HP up by 20%, Bloody Griff has the same. And then he has also a recovery effect, and he recovers 50% HP when his HP falls below 50% once only. So Bloody Griff has a full HP heal, Yudil only a 50%, but then he also decreases the enemy's attacks by 30% and also the crit rate. So the enemies, they won't crit all the time. Even if they have built their characters for 100% crit rate, they will crit like 50% of the time. And in conjunction with 30% decreased attack, the enemies won't hit that hard anymore. His third ability is a bit weird for a tank, because he gets Caged Vigor. His damage is up by 20% when he is below 60% HP, which, yeah, like I said, is weird, because why would you give like a tank like Yudil a damage enhancing ability like this one? I mean, it's nice to see, but it doesn't really fit into his kit, so that's quite odd actually. His debris is pretty plain, 15% HP up. Okay, we take those. And then we have a look at his weapon, Dark Strike, 2-hand Dark Affinity weapon. And look at the stats. Yeah, pretty high HP, so that goes in line with Yudil. And we have a new weapon skill item here, and this is the weapon skill that tells us that this weapon has an effect which is only active when it's a proficient weapon on the user. So this weapon deals 60% damage to one enemy 5 times, and when your character is equipped with their proficient weapon, reduce that enemy's attack by 30% for 45 seconds. So we get this ripper effect only when we use this weapon on a 2-hand sword user. You can think about that what you want, but we get to another weapon in just a second where this is actually quite important. The second skill is a ward ability, 40% times 3, and increases all allies' defense by 30% for 30 seconds. Nothing really special here. The abilities are Void Boon, 30% more damage from Dark, and Toughness, 15% more HP. So you have like a hybrid sword here with a little bit of HP, a little bit of Void Boon, and that is actually not too bad, but it doesn't really fit for a true DPS character in the game. Probably more as a sub weapon on Celebratory Yudil unless his character skill animation is really short, then you can wear this weapon also as a main hand on him. And now we have even 2 barrier skills on this weapon. I like to see that. That definitely helps newer players that don't have a very good variety of weapons available for ROD quests. So weapons having multiple type of barriers, you can use them in multiple type of quests, which is actually pretty nice. The second character is Celebratory Sarafa, Celebratory Belle, we call her in the game now. And her attack is the first that is over 10,000. So, wow, okay, who would have guessed that Sarafa is the true DPS on this banner? A lot of people guessed she will be the support and Yudil will be the DPS, but oh man, we were wrong. Sarafa hits real hard, and his character skill is another evidence of that. She deals 330% damage to one enemy 5 times and damage up by 15% when own affinity is light. And she also increases your light damage by 15% for 30 seconds. So that is most likely only for herself, but since she's the DPS unit anyway, she will give herself the buff and racks people down. I mean, that is so strong if she's wearing a light affinity main hand weapon. Very, very hard hitting fortune teller, baby. Okay. And her abilities are vigor 25%, not that great, but I mean, you have to have some vigor, I guess, to go over 10,000 attack. And then she has Lucid Verve, the highest Lucid Verve ability in the game. She increases the attack of equipped light affinity weapons by 50% for the whole party. So the highest that we had in the past was 40%. For example, New Year's Marie had 40%. And now we have 50% for this awesome spear user here. And it gets even better. At Awakening 3, she gets Bold Vigor, 20% more damage when HP is above 70%. So this unit as a whole, she is basically the unit I dreamed for, because I was saying, okay, we have Sinnoh Alazakia, we have Christmas Griff, we have Christmas Priet, and we have New Year's Yuri. All of these are like the affinity DPS, and now we have the 5th one for light, which is Sarafa, and she hits very, very hard. I'm so happy to see her shining here in my future subjugation teams, if I pull her, that is. The debris, ordinary, 15% vigor. That is okay. That is okay. Not a must Awakening 5 unit. The debris is good. Her weapon though, Stellar Halberd, is I'm quite torn about this weapon, but it's really interesting, so have a look. Attack 3,400. I don't remember if any spear in the game has more than 3,000 attack, so the attack on this spear is skyrocketed to the moon and beyond. Okay, and now we have a look at the skills. So we have the same skill icon that the weapon of Celeb Yudil had, and this is Despair's Lucid Boon. Deal 100% damage to one enemy 5 times. When your character is equipped with their proficient weapon, your light attack damage is increased by 50% for 15 seconds. So this is right off the bat a Dark Memory EX weapon. Skill 1. You have the 500% damage. You have 50% more damage from light attack for 15 seconds. So that is like copy paste, but it has to be a proficient weapon on a spear user. And that is something that's really a pity to me, because in subjugation, you want to wear non-proficient weapons to reduce skill animations. And this weapon forces you to have it as a proficient main hand weapon. So when the attack animations of Sarafa are so long, this weapon is not really suitable to have it as a main hand weapon, unfortunately. I really hope her animations are quick and we can use that on her as a main hand DPS weapon. And that would be awesome, but I really doubt it. So we have to do some testings here. The second weapon skill is Despairs of Vigor, a 4 hit. The first one was a 5 hit, so that is 9 hits. Pretty nice. And it deals 45% damage to one enemy 4 times, increases your attack by 30% for 30 seconds. So the same vigor that we saw with other light weapons on the second skill. The multiplier is pretty low, and 30% attack up for 30 seconds is not that great. And the problem here is you basically want to use this weapon skill first with 500% damage to get the 50% lucid boon basically, and then you follow up with not even a 200% skill after that, which is kind of a shame, to be fair. The abilities lucid boon 30% and vigor 15%, and also 2 barrier skills. So overall, I really like this weapon, and I really want to test it out on the new Sarafa in Subjugation. Unfortunately, we have to wait a little bit for Subjugation to come back, but we can test in the other PvE modes to get a feel for the character animation of her. And we will see how it turns out. And final character on the banner is Celebratory Monster. Levania gets a celebratory costume. How good is that, right? Levania low-key just slightly below Sarafa, in my opinion. He's a very strong DPS unit, and here's why. HP respectable at over 80,000 and attack over 9,000. That is pretty nice. Very awesome stats there. And his character skill is very good, actually. Deal almost 400% damage times 4, so that is close to 1,500-ish. And damage up by 50% when own affinity is fire, so the same effect that Sinoel Zakia has on her character skill. And on top of that, he increases damage of 2 times or more chains by 20% for 30 seconds. So Levania, pretty good DPS character in fire teams of Subjugation as the only DPS, like 1 DPS 2 support type of wave. And he gets herself a buff, a pursuit buff, 20% for 30 seconds. And we have to look at the abilities first to better evaluate this character skill. He has ambush 25%, so that is nice to build a DPS for. You don't have to use another 20% crit rate weapon as a sub to get half a set of like the crit damage memoirs or the berserker memoirs, Chains of Conflict. So easy to build him as a DPS unit. And then he has this new ability, Proficiency. Grants a 70% higher chance that your normal attacks will be a free chain. Has no effect on the chance of a 4 or a 5 chain, however. So that means you basically want him to wear a proficient weapon as a main hand. And while doing this, you also benefit from his auto attacks that they get buffed by this pursuit ability of his character skill. So you enter knockdown with like some sort of a support skill or a support weapon, and then you activate the character skill of Levania and both weapon skills, of course, and then you deal your auto attacks with your proficient fist. So for example, EX Levania's fist. I mean, yes, he gets more damage when he's wearing a fire main hand weapon, but he's really an all-arounder. So even 400% times 4 damage is 4 times damage cap, really. So yes, he shines in versus wind with a fire weapon, but don't put it this way all the time. This Levania is an all-around DPS character. The third ability is Valiance, 10% more attack for all allies, which is kind of weird because he's actually a true DPS character, and then he has Valiance, 10% for all allies. So would have been better here. I don't know. really, what more to ask for? Cage Vigor is probably too much. Bolt Vigor doesn't really fit his kit. Unfortunately, he didn't get like Blaze Rush or so, which is really awkward. So Balance is actually not that bad. And his debris is the third generic one, Fleetfoot, agility up by 15%. So all of the characters, they have only like some sort of, say, generic debris. So you don't necessarily can get FOMO, fear of missing out, on A5, on Awakening 5 of the characters. So it's actually pretty nice to get a break from bonkers debris and just enjoy our new units, okay? But first things first, the weapon of Levania, Enchanting Claw, almost 4,000 attacks. So that is actually pretty high, but I'm not so satisfied with the skill, so have a look. Enchanting Render, 20 seconds cooldown, and it's a 60% damage to one enemy 4 times. When your character is equipped with that proficient weapon, reduce that enemy's defense by 30% for 45 seconds. So you get a render debuff, which is okay, but defense down is like literally the worst debuff you can inflict on the enemy. So not that great. And the second skill is 50% to one enemy times 5 and raise all allies crit hit by 20% for 10 seconds. So you don't want to play around with the increased critical rate for the party because you have memoirs for this, so you don't need any weapon skills. So this is basically only 250% damage, and this is 240% damage. And although the weapon has high attack stats, it's not really recommended to use this weapon on Celebratory Levania because the weapon skill multipliers are quite low. The abilities, however, they are really good. Blaze Boon 30% and 15% vigor, so it is actually an awesome sub-weapon with awesome high attack stat. 2 barrier skills, which helps for Recollection of Dusk as well, but it's not recommended to use this weapon as a main hand. And there we have it. These are the 3 new costumes we have in the game: Levania, Yudil, Sarafa. I'm really excited to get Sarafa, so hopefully my polls are blessed when I'm going in just a second. And Yudil, very interesting for arena, and Levania, maybe the DPS I needed in my fire team of subjugation to go to finally triple S10. So last but not least, is this banner a good banner to reroll on? And in my opinion, it really is, okay? So we have a couple of things going here. We have a fist, a 2-hand sword, and a spear user, which is pretty good because they don't compete for the same weapon type. We also have 2 DPS units with Sarafa and Levania, so they will carry you through basically the story content as well as the other PvE content as well, because their stats are pretty high, their multipliers on the character skills are damn high, and they are really good units, to be fair. And Yudil will help you in early arena, I guess, so his character skill is usable from the start, so you have a tank as well. So I think for new players, this is a pretty good banner to start on, and you should reroll to get either Lev or Sarafa, whatever fits your bill, basically. And I really liked what the devs did here to construct this type of banner, because the 2nd anniversary will certainly have a big influx of new players, so having a banner like this really totally makes sense. So I hope your polls are good as well. Probably a lot of you have already polled, so let me know it down in the comments what you did get. Did you get one of the new units to Awakening 5? Did you get all of them from the free multi-step up banner? I'm so interested to see what these new units will bring to the table, and just tell me what your experience of them are as of right now. I wish you a nice rest of your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one, for sure. Peace! Enjoy anniversary!